Hello guys, the old man Chris in the sweaty shop. Oh, the heat's been stupid. I don't know how I got out in the shop this last few days. I thought this weekend was going to be significantly less hot. I won't say cooler, but in fact the humidity's stuck up pretty high, and we had some rain which was good, but oh man, out here is just ridiculous. And you know, the old back's limiting as well, so I've been picking away at what I've been doing, which is a small project, just enough to keep things rolling. About 3 weeks ago I got a couple of hand wheels. That's a 4-inch, and I got a 5 as well. And I suppose really they're not bad value. That was 15 with free shipping. 5-inch was 18 with free shipping. Came from China, of course, but they actually came quite quickly. Anyway, I give thanks to Lee's channel, which is well worth a watch. A little while ago, Lee used a hand wheel and modified it so he could get some fast action on his Vise. And sometimes if you're opening the Vise from say 1/2 inch to 4-inch, you know, a full excursion, the old you know, the old what I call the floppy handle isn't really that easy. So for the faster movement I've modified a hand wheel, sort of copying what he did. And I thought about it long ago, but watching his video I thought, yeah, I'll do that. So it's a fairly simple project, but quite a few stages. So there are lots of clips joined together to try and show the whole thing. Might be of interest, might not. But anyway, it's kept this old bugger doing something in the shop. But up and coming weather, I don't know, the whole of August sounds like stupid heat, so I just, as usual, don't know what's happening next. And anyway, there you go. Hope you enjoy it, such as it is. I'll see you when I see you. Excuse the fan running, but despite being slightly less hot, it's sticky. Anyway, here's the plan. I've got out here after I don't know how many days. I got a couple of cheap import hand wheels, 4-inch and 5-inch, I suppose it is. I'm just trying to remember now. Yeah, 4-inch and 5. And it's something I thought about ages ago, and when I saw Lee on his channel, he did this exact same thing. I forget what his hand wheel was, but anyway, these are cheap and cheerful. So I haven't got enough vise opening to hold this on the outside, so although I can't turn down the hub to make it look nice, I'm mainly concerned with boring it out. And this is for the Vise. So the 14mm socket, long reach. It's I think just under 20mm diameter OD, just over 3/4 inch. So I'm going to bore out for that and put it in there, and I think for simplicity's sake, unless I'm lucky and hit just right, and this most of it, this actually turns reasonably, not too far off centre. I might make this a press fit, but probably the main thing will be to put it in, and I should think in depth. I'm just trying to remember now. Should probably have this much sticking out the back, I expect. And instead of machining flats on here, I'll use a grinder and put a couple of set screws in there. And then I found this long bolt. I haven't checked the thread in here. It looks like probably
might be an M8, so I might be able to use that. So we'll turn down, make a shoulder bolt, turn this end down and re-thread it, and turn off the hex, put on a screwdriver slot, and if I've got a piece of aluminum suitable, make the outer, that's a 3/8 bolt. So the idea is, purely and simply, is a means of quickly opening or closing the vice jaws. If they need locked up super tight, this comes off and the ordinary thing goes on. So I think I'm almost set up, so I'm going to make a start on that soon. Now at the moment this is not running dead true for the hole. The periphery here, that's running fairly true mostly, but before I can get a drill in there I want to make a start, and again, if we're fractionally off centre eventually it ain't going to matter. I've got you see this mini little boring bar, and I haven't got much reach. I could possibly bring it out slightly. Let me have a look. I've brought it out, I've got another 1/4 inch, so I'm just going to try and get a half decent round hole for a 1/2 inch in, and I think a drill will follow, hopefully. Alright, that's a bit better. So I'll find a drill to get through the whole piece and then step up in sizes. Well, the hole's just under 3/8, so I'm going to try and put a 3/8 through and get right through the whole boss. Alright, that's pretty much got through there, so I'm going to go up in drill sizes and then we'll bore out to final. Right, we've taken that up to 1/2 inch. Rather crusty material actually, so I think I might have a look, see what I've got one boring bar I think which will go from a 1/2 upwards, so I may try that. Well, I couldn't use the next boring bar up because of the reach. Excuse me, I did have this periphery mounted in the chuck, but the jaw design wasn't getting a good enough grip. It wouldn't have been safe. So I've got a longer 3/4 on a Morse, but this is 45/64, and I said this is a bit crusty, this casting material, so I'm going to try this on the back gear and see if I can get through that and then switch to boring bar. Right, well that should help. Let's see if my repositioned boring bar will help now, because I've actually lost not far short of 1 inch before I start to get into there. This is very squeaky material. Doesn't feel too bad inside, but I think there's quite a bit of spring in this boring bar, and I'm getting a cut on the return, so I've really got to keep tabs on the measurements all the time. This squeak's terrible. I'll have to turn the volume down. Well, I spared you all the squeak, even if I turned the volume down. Anyway, I've sneaked up on it. I was about a thou tight just now, and I don't think I'll go for a press fit. But we're just good. Very little movement. So it'll probably go into about there, I suppose. So I think that's, I'm just going to put a chamfer on there somehow, if I can get at it. Okay, I think, let's take that out. I can't do much more. Got a little chamfer on there. I'm just not sure yet what this thread is. I'll see if I can ID that and duplicate it. The boss isn't too bad, I suppose. I'd like to have turned it down to be a bit better looking, but what the hell. Alright, that's about it. I think I'll come back to this. It's still too freaking hot, and I've stood quite long enough for this little session. So I'll see you when we come back to the next stage. Well, another short session. Get this on a bit further. I've got the bolt chucked up, and this 3/8 thread, which looks like a national fine, take that off. So I've got to take 30 thou off each side, if I remember rightly. Let me check my little cheat sheet. 30 thou each side. I don't need quite that length. And then we'll put on a metric 8 by 1.25. I'm heading for 3125. Sorry, 315. I'm just using the spindle handle here, hoping I can wind this thread on. I'd already done the chamfer, by the way, and I did give a small touch of parting blade at the end of the thread so that it can come up more or less to the shoulder. That thread's still longer than I need, but I don't think it's a problem. But that does up tight against the shoulder. But it does mean the handle is going to be pointed slightly inwards than outwards, but what the heck. Don't worry about it. Alright, the next thing I think is we'll turn this round, and I've got to turn down the hex, and get that to a round with a cut. I've got to work out the size yet. Well, the only aluminum I've got is a piece of 3/4. It's about the only solid I've got around that diameter, so I'm going to use that. So I want this to be, we'll take all the corners off and down a little, check the dimensions, and then work that into suit with what an end mill will give me for a top pocket. It's going to be an interrupted cut here, so I'm using an old bit of tooling here. Okay, let's see what we've got. Just under 600. 600. No, it's about 590. Yeah, if I use a 5/8 end mill on the end of the aluminum, that'll give a nice easy pocket for that. So I'll just face it off and chamfer. I don't think I can quite get in there. Maybe just if I'm careful. Whew, that was a bit close to the chuck. Alright, so we've got to put a slot in this later on. Right, I'm going to get this bar set up, the aluminum. Now, I want to put a taper on it because I don't want more than ½ an inch butting up against the hand wheel. I've got this hole here, I must get rid of that, face off. But I want to turn a slight taper on here. But then I've also got to change the pocket, the end, for the head of the bolt. Anyway, I'm maxing out again. Oh, so I'll be back when I'm back. It's another day. Let's see how much I can manage today. Probably won't be a whole lot, and the damn sun's come out. I don't usually say that, but it's going to pick up the heat, and oh well, enough moaning about the weather. So I'm going to face off here and get rid of this hole, which I don't think, actually I better check and see if it's running on centre enough. I tell you what, it is adequate. Alright, well here's the plan. I want a 3/8 through hole with the bolt here. There's my shoulder bolt. The length that we need is going to be about there, which is about 2 7/8. So just face that a little bit, get bored through 3/8, and set up the compound to cut my taper. Now it's an 1/8 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch in 2 7/8, which is a ratio of 1 to 23, and the sine works out at 2.49 degrees, and it's not super critical. So let's see, let's just face that off quickly. Well, this hole might actually be a smidgen off centre, but I'm going to go with it. I'm somewhat limited for how long I can manage out here. We've made a start on that, and I'll take a bit more cut and then I'll carry on. Right, I'll finish that off camera, you don't want to see all that. And then put the 3/8 down and see where we are. This 5/16 drill, I'm going to have to go right up to the end of the flutes plus a bit. That'll be alright, so I'll carry on with that. Now I'll get the 3/8 down. Shouldn't take too long compared to the 5/16. Let's see what I got. I think it might just about be enough. So yeah, that's going over 3" so that'll allow me. Let's just check again. Yeah, that should be enough. So I'll set up an end mill just to get a pocket on there. Right, I've got a 5/8 2 flute. I hope it's alright with this projection on here. There's rather lots of stick out. Definitely not a uniform grind. There we go, that's fine. A little bit tight down the middle, so what we'll do probably is polish the bolt and then add some lube. Otherwise it'll gall against the aluminum. Right, I'm going to set up for a bit of taper. And if I didn't say, which I may have done actually, the reason I'm doing it this way is tapering from here down to 1/2 inch. Is so I could get this pocket. So we'll try and get down to 1/2 inch. I'll probably cut a 1/2 inch approximate relief and then cut down to it. Well, as so often, a bit of a change of plan. I calculated my 2.5 degrees for the whole 2 7/8, but the compound doesn't stretch that far. It does about 2 1/4. So I've recalculated. That's a nominal 2 inch. And that worked out at 3.58 degrees. I've set up on the scale to nominal 3.5. And the main thing is that I get down to about 1/2 inch down there, which means it'll clear the inside of the wheel casting. I've locked the saddle, by the way. Alright, I'll carry on with that for a bit. Come back to you when we're nearly finished. Right, we're down to getting close to 5 there. I'm just going to take another light cut. It's not a very good finish because it's not the ideal tool for the job, to be honest, but we'll do some polishing. I'll take a light cut on here, and then I think I'll put a bell center in here, and then do some polishing up. Light cut, much slower feed, so that won't take so much polishing. So I'll put a center in there and do some finishing off. Right, I'm down to what I want here. So the angle was about right. So instead of taking a cut on here, I think I'm just going to do polishing, and that'll blend that transition in a little bit. We'll see how it works out. Yeah, it's coming on, but I need a bit more on there, so I'll get that finished off. Just want a little bit of chamfer on there. This is not a perfect finish, but excuse me yet again. I'm just going to dress that with a file. I've got to be careful, there's not a lot of material on that end. That's about it. I've just got to part that off, I think. That's all. I've got so little to go through here. I'm just going to use the spindle handle. In theory, there's only about a 1/16 at the end there. Alright, there's that off. See what we've got. Right, that's that down in the bolt. Goes in, there's a very slight tight spot at one point. Can't really tell, it's very small, and holding it like this I can't get past it. And we'll have some lube on there. I think the outer is pretty okay. It might be a smidgen long, which I can go on the belt sander on that end just to tidy that up. So the next thing is a few milling operations and we're done. I'm now sweating buckets. I was going to cool off and rest, so we'll come back to the mill at some point. The fan's running again. I hope it's not too intrusive. I just want to put a screwdriver slot in this bolt for the handle. Just collet block, 3/8 collet. That was a 50th hour cut. I thought I'd see what it was like, and it's almost enough, but I think I'll take another 25 and then move on to the hand wheel again. There we are. I took another 30 thou actually, so it's 80 thou. I prefer it to be a little bit deep, and I think that'll do now for the bolt. The fan's still running, sorry about that. I'm going to put a tapping hole in for quarter 20. I'll drill that and tap it and then turn this over, do on the other side. Right, oh sorry, lots of hand in the way. Now this way up the wheel's even higher and I haven't got any more column height, so I'm making do with stub drills. This is a quarter, just to give me my tap start. Right, I'll do what I did the other side. I'll take the wheel out and tap it by hand. I'm going to try and mill small flats on here. I've got a carbide cutter in. I'll run that at 1500 and see if I can get through the chrome, which may be a bit difficult, but we'll try it. Oh, it's making a cut, so I'll go a bit deeper on that. I had to, one thing I was going to mention, I don't really want a lot of this sticking out from the handle, but this is very thin walled, and from here back the wall thickness increases, and that's why we're putting a flat on here. So I'm going to take another, that was a very modest cut. I'll take another 20 now. Right. I think that'll do nicely. I'm going to turn it over now. I'm working again to a mark, so this is a bit eyeball, makes it a bit quicker. Let's see if I can do without the fan for a minute. Alright, there it is. Look at that weird angle for the handle. I use that 8 by 1.25 thread, and it's not even dead square the other way, I don't think. Anyway, this projects a bit more than I'd like, but as I said earlier, the wall thickness is such that to get set screws on I had to bring it forward. It is also fairly sloppy on the Vise hex, but the thing is that gives me a nice quick, it'd be nice if it was a better fit on the Vise hex, but that's a much quicker way to get open and shut quickly. Yeah, pity that isn't tighter. Anyway, that worked out well. That bolt was handy. Got that by digging in the drawers.
So that made my shoulder bolt. That's all it is. So in part thanks to Lee for reminding me. I don't know whether I can build that hex up a bit. They always make it very, very sloppy, and in fact the collar at the end here, bit of float. But it does what I want. And if I've got to tighten up a lot, then take that off and you know, bring out the usual. There it is. Not perfect, but functional. Well, there it is. Little old hand wheel. As I so often say, and I'll say it again, no idea when I'll get onto another project. I've got 2 or 3 things on the back burner. Probably more actually, but I don't know, it could be a couple of weeks, heaven knows. I mean, if we get a break in stupid heat, gives me a chance to get out as long as I can stand for a bit. And so it's all up in the air, isn't it? Well, it is for me. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again eventually, I hope. Bye for now.